Hey, welcome to the second live stream I've done on this channel. And I'm just looking over here at, as it's getting to the end of the countdown, it's telling me it has poor connection. So you let me know if you're in the comments, if it's not connecting well or something's going off, let me know. I forgot to switch this to like a 1080 or 1440 stream. It's on 4K, which is a lot and probably is too much for my internet to handle, basically because I'm not hardwired in. I'm just on Wi-Fi. So let me know if that needs to be adjusted. I cannot do it live while I'm streaming. So yeah, I can uncheck that. Maybe that'll help go a little bit faster. But anyway, thanks for showing up. If you are here, welcome to all those in the replay. Today I just had it titled, DaVinci Resolve Q&A type thing. So if you have questions about DaVinci Resolve, I have some stuff I'm going to just touch on and commonly asked questions. But really, it's just a time to get to know each other and to talk about gear and software and all that kind of stuff. This stream was supposed to be live last week. Sorry about that. If you were planning on joining me, it was the last weekend before school starts for all my kids. I have 5 kids, and so I needed to spend some extra time with them. So I canceled last week's second live stream. So it's today. Today's the second live stream. Yeah, if you're here, drop a comment. Let me know if the stream is okay. From what I can tell over here in YouTube, there's an error, so I don't even know if this is actually streaming live or not. Says it's going good, but it also says it's like paused. But anyway, it's not a big deal. So we'll move on. We'll move on with what we have and not worry about it. So yeah, let's talk about Resolve. That's what I use to edit. I'd be interested to see what other software that you guys use. I came from Premiere primarily. Learned on a few different software back in the day, but primarily Premiere and After Effects and the whole Adobe suite. And it got too expensive when you have to pay a monthly price or a yearly subscription or whatever. And so I dove into Resolve probably in 2019 and just started using it. And it took a while. It was a different software. It functioned differently. I had things that I had never experienced, and it was missing things that I was used to. So it took a while. It was probably 3 months of editing videos and projects in it before I was like set on it and was happy with it. So if it is something that you're looking to jump into, just know you gotta give it some time and really jump in and do some projects on it to get the full benefit of DaVinci Resolve. So I don't really have like a project to work through, but I do have, before I get to some of these like commonly asked questions, I did want to plug quickly my Creator Lab community. So I host a Creator Lab community. It's a free community on School, and it'll be linked down in the description below this video. It's absolutely free. It's launching September 1st. So in a few weeks, we'll be launching. And it's a place where we're just going to challenge each other to make better videos, make better content, whether that's for YouTube, thumbnails, or anything else, or if it's just general work for clients. It's a place to get feedback. It's a place to grow, inspire each other, as well as just learn in general how to do things a little bit better. So it's really important, I think, as a creative to find a community. I know that's been important for me. I've been in a number of communities. The midlife creator community that Ty Myers runs, if you've ever seen his channel, is a big influence in me starting this community and kind of building YouTube the way I'm building it. So you can join that community as well. It's free for now. It's gonna change to a paid subscription here in a little bit. So if you want to jump in for free, do it now before later. So yeah, community is a big deal. It helps just get bounce ideas off each other, right? Like you can bounce ideas, you can look at thumbnails. If you're doing YouTube, you can put up a number of thumbnails and see what people like before you even put it up there, or titles or other things, as well as just looking at projects, asking questions. It's a great way to help like accelerate your growth. So if you're interested, links in the description, jump in there. It's free. I'd love to have you. And that will launch on September 1st. So let's jump into some commonly asked questions. Again, if you are here and you want to leave a comment, put a Q in front of it, and I will get to them as quickly as I can. And right now there's no one watching, so it'll be pretty much instant. So anyway, there's a number of questions that I've seen over the years on Resolve, just, you know, from random people that I meet or in communities or even on YouTube. A lot of times people get bogged down by how complicated it looks. So, you know, why is Resolve like so complicated for a beginner? And so I'm gonna pop over here and kind of show you Resolve. So I have it open up here. And it looks like a lot. Like if you're coming from CapCut or you're coming from, you know, maybe Premiere is robust too. But if you're coming from iMovie or some of these easier, I guess, more consumer-based editing softwares, this is going to be pretty substantially different. So the big thing to note is this software, DaVinci Resolve, is like multiple software in one. So if you've ever used Adobe, they have Premiere, so that the nonlinear editor, so that's where you're going to edit your videos in a timeline. You have After Effects, which is where you're going to build motion graphics. And now you can do some of that in Premiere as well, but that After Effects is primarily that software. You have Audition for editing audio and really doing some fine tuning there. You also have obviously all the non-video stuff like Photoshop and whatnot. So this is video centered, and it has different software all in one. So if you look down here at the bottom tab, so let me go to this, it's cutting it off a little bit. These bottom tabs down here are like the different software. So you have media, which this tab is where you can manage your media. So if you want to do it through here, you can actually access all your hard drive space, all your, if you have, you know, a network or whatever, you can have it all here, and your files can be managed, and you can drop them in here and organize everything. That's really only used for really big projects. If you're doing smaller projects, YouTube, that kind of thing, you're probably not going to use the media tab. I don't use it. You can, it just that you don't need to. Then you have the cut page down here, and the cut page is if you've ever used Final Cut or iMovie, where there's like one timeline and they're kind of like butted together. That's what the cut page is for. It's to quickly do rough cuts. It's not like Premiere where you can just drag clips all over the screen and put them wherever you want. It's very specifically one after another. You can do layers in here as well. I did not come from Final Cut, so I hardly use this window, but it might be something that you could transition into using if you're from Final Cut or iMovie. And then in the edit tab or window, this is where I spend most of my time. So this is a lot more like Premiere, where you'll have, you know, a bin where you can put files and, you know, have all that kind of stuff. And then like here's all your effects. And then over here is like your properties of your video clips or layers. And then here's the timeline. So in here, I don't have a timeline made, so I can just go ahead and do a new timeline real fast, just so I can kind of see, you know, you can see what it looks like. There are some different toggles. So up here in the top, there's like this will take away the bottom layer to make the timeline go full width of the screen. They have a toggle here, and they also have a toggle over here. So if you needed more space vertically on the side for some of these effects or other things, you can do that. Also, if you want a couple windows open like I do, you can do that as well. This is the media toggle here, so that'll open up the media bin. This is the effects bin, and then you have some music and keyframes and other things that you can open up as well. Then over here you have the inspector. So when there's a clip in here, let me go and just see if I can find a little clip to drag in. I'm going to try to get something that's somewhat small, or at least downloaded. We'll just drag this in because this is, I'm actually editing this video right now, so it's a little bit bigger of a file, but it's currently on my hard drive. So if I were to drop this down here, and put it on the timeline, this is where it'll show up for, you know, the video itself. But over here you noticed all the properties showed up. So you have all the video properties to be able to zoom and position everything, and everything's keyframeable. You can crop, you know, your video. All this stuff is done over here in the properties panel, as well as the audio that came with it. You can do some different stuff as well, EQ and that kind of thing, all within the edit page. Then we have the Fusion page down here. So I clicked on it. This is kind of like DaVinci's After Effects. So this is where you're going to do motion graphics and some other stuff. This is node based. So this is where it's going to really trip you up. And I would say if you're just learning Resolve, I wouldn't go into Fairlight's the audio, the Fusion tab, unless you absolutely have to. And I would wait until you know Resolve enough and you're comfortable with Resolve enough, and then start doing some deep dives into Fusion, because it's a different mindset when you're using nodes versus layers. It can be a lot more complex, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It allows you to do a lot more complex edits and things that are procedural and don't break down as much, as far as like, you know, layers have to affect the layer right below it. This can be totally different. You know, it can affect multiple things. But it's a lot more complicated. I have not really dove into this yet. I still use After Effects when I want to, because I love After Effects. That was like my first love as a software. So it'll probably be a long time before I jump into Fusion, because I just love After Effects the way it works. It's how my brain works. So, but this is still very, very powerful and can do, you know, a good amount of what After Effects can do. Then you have the color tab, and this is where you're going to do all the magic color. This is a huge selling point for DaVinci Resolve, because this is like the best color grading software on the planet. And yeah, this is just strictly professional. You know, you're going to have, this is kind of where Resolve started as a color software before it expanded into, you know, a full video editor. So this is the bread and butter that you're going to get. And then you have the Fairlight, and this is where you edit the audio, and you can do all the different effects per channel or on individual clips. And then this is the Deliver tab down here. This is where you export. This is where you set all your settings for where you're sending your videos. So that being said, hopefully, again, this is still giving me errors, so hopefully the stream's doing okay. I don't know if it keeps cutting out or not. Let me know in the comments. I saw a couple of you jump on, but it looks like no one's here again, which is just you know, that's okay. That's why I'm starting to do it. I think it'll be fun to bounce ideas off each other and talk about gear and other things. So anyway, that's a quick run through of Resolve. And just watching that, you're probably thinking to yourself, that was pretty complex, and I'm not sure what to do with that as a beginner. It can be. I have a couple videos on my channel about Resolve. If you just take the time and learn the edit page alone, and maybe the Fusion page, or not Fusion, sorry, Fairlight page. I wish they called it something different, but for the audio, if you just focus on a couple of those things and get better at it, you really will get used to it, and you'll, I think, love the way the color works, and just the editing is so easy. And the fact that they have a free version of this is kind of amazing. So yeah, it's a lot. It does look complicated, and it takes time. But honestly, that's the thing with any professional grade editing software. It's gonna be more complicated than your CapCut or your iMovie, but it's gonna be better in the long run. So let's see. All right, you know, another question is, how do I import video? I kind of already showed you that. I literally just dragged this video from a Finder window, you know, file window, and put it in here in this bin, and it imported. That's really all you have to do. Now over here, you can set up bins. So I can set up a bin and title it, you know, raw, for like my raw footage or whatever. And that way, when I click on this, it's just the raw footage. And let's say I wanted this to have a timeline. Oh, can't even spell. I'm from the side. I'm over, my keyboard's over here, so it's like kind of awkward. So if I put the timeline in there, so that way, like, you know, in the timeline, it shows only your timelines, raw, everything's organized. Like you can organize it over here in bins, folders essentially. And then power bins are something I'll go over later, but they automatically, they're basically every project I open up, I have access to all my assets and stuff that I use on a regular basis. So that's how you import. You can also right click and come down to import media. And when you do that, it'll pop up and show you your Finder window, and you can select the file. So it's real simple. That's how you do that. Another question that is commonly asked is, what's the difference between all the tabs, which I already went into. So yeah, you can just rewind and watch that. What's the easiest way to make simple cuts and trims in video? Okay, so down here on the edit tab, let's go. Oh, I just realized I didn't even, this is what happens when there's no one in the comments to say, hey, you aren't showing your screen. So this is on you guys. This is on you guys for not being here. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let me go back to import real fast because I realized I totally did that without showing my screen. So I made the bins and the folders. What I was talking about is right here. You right click and click new bin. And so now everything is organized where it was just in the master section earlier. You also can click and drag. That's how I got this clip in here. And then you can also right click and hit import media, and then that'll show up. So that's what I was doing. Sorry, I wasn't showing my screen. Hopefully y'all didn't leave on the replay just from that because I was talking and not showing you anything. Oh, all right. So what was the question? I forgot. I don't even remember the question. Oh yeah, how do you make some simple cuts? Okay, so that's pretty easy. So we're over here in the edit tab. I'll just move it up here so I can see a little bit. Actually, let me just get rid of some of this stuff. Okay, so you know, here's the timeline. We have this kind of stuff. I don't even know if it's gonna play audio or not, but all right, so right here you're gonna have, I have it shortcutted, but I'll show you the tools. So like there's a blade tool, and like this you can cut anywhere if you just use that tool. But I actually have shortcuts set up so that basically, let's just zoom in. So you can zoom in doing this. That's how you can get closer. You can hold Option or Alt and use your scroll wheel on your mouse. So let's say I wanted to cut here. I actually have the shortcut C, which will just make a cut wherever this playhead is. So see how I made that playhead, and that's basically how I cut. And then when I trim, well, I'll just say like how I get rid of this space and butt that up. I have it set. This is usually, I believe, Option Delete, but I have it as just delete, and it'll just delete that and then move everything over on the timeline. To trim, you just kind of put it next to the edges of the clip here, and you can see how these show up. So if I'm in the middle, it's going to move both clips. It's going to drag it along both clips, right? If I come over here and just do this one left side, it's just going to move that clip in or out. And if I do the same on the other side, it's going to move that clip in or out. So that's how you can trim clips on the sides, and that'll make it quick for editing. So that's how you do simple cuts or trims on your video clips. All right, another one. Let's see. How do I make a video look better without knowing color grading? Okay, that's kind of hard to just make it look better, but let me show you, since this is kind of like a raw file here. I'm going to undo the edits there. So this is a raw like log file. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm not going to do anything. I actually have a whole preset that you can get. I think it's still available, or it might not be available on my Stan store, but it'll be available in the community, so you can get it there for free. But over here in the color tab, there's a couple things you can do. So this is node based as well, just like Fusion, so don't let it be confusing. To make more nodes, hit Alt or Option S, and it'll make a node to the next area. So nodes are basically layers, but they can function, they can have multiple functions, so they don't just affect the next layer, they can affect other things as well. That's how nodes work. But essentially what I would do is I would convert from log. So I shot in log, so you're going to use a color space transform, which is a part of the effects. Again, this can be complex. If you don't know a lot of color grading, you probably aren't shooting in log. but let me at least get it to Rec 709, which is what your camera shoots in. Let me get it there real fast. So you change the color space. So I shot on a Canon, so Canon Cinema Gamut. Excuse me. I shot in Canalog 3, and now we're in the right space. I believe I have it set up to be right. I might not have the A set up, so let me go down. Nope. I need to do this one. All right. So now you can see just with that one conversion, like that makes that flat file like look like it would look coming out of the camera, which is great. So let's say you already had this and this is what you need to edit. To make it look better, you're gonna probably want to add some contrast and other things. So like this, all these tabs are part of the color window, and it's gonna be a lot, and it's gonna be probably pretty complex. The main ones you need to know about is this wheel right here. That's the color wheel or the log wheels. That's where you're going to do some contrast. You can do some color shifting and things like that. If you need denoise, that's right here for the under motion effects. So you can add denoise. So this is based on the frames, and then the temporal and the spatial, these numbers right here, you know, denoise the image. But I don't actually use that because I don't need it very much. And then over here is we're going to add like curves. If you want to do that, you can also do the hue versus hue, hue saturation, hue versus saturation, hue versus luminance, that kind of stuff, all on this tab right here. These are some pretty cool stuff, like this color science. So there's like skin, and you can mess with this and just play around, as well as this web that shows all the colors and kind of where it's leaning. You can adjust those type of things as well. So like if I select in here, it's going to give me a selection that I can adjust just that the color within that little selection area. But you don't need to know about a lot of those. It's really the log wheel is what you're going to want to know about. Over here, this little tab, and then the triangle is where sharpen is. So you're going to come in and probably add some sharpness by turning it down a little bit. So if I were to zoom in, and you can toggle this on and off, you can see it just sharpen up a little bit. So you're going to add that kind of stuff, and then, you know, contrast as well. So you can either come in, I wouldn't use the contrast slider as much, but you can do that and add some contrast to the image. You can also use these log wheels and look at your waveform. So toggle the waveform on over here. And you can, you know, boost shadows if it's too dark. Midtones need raise, you can raise them. Obviously, you're going to start cutting into some stuff if you do crazy things, but anyway, that's how you do quick edits to make your image look a little bit better without knowing a whole lot about color grading. I will say, if you grab my preset and it comes with a LUT, those are very quick and make it easier as well. So if you find presets or LUTs, early on, it's going to be better for you for color grading. Another question that I get a lot is, why does my computer feel slow when editing in Resolve? And well, that could be just because your computer is slow, and that's often what it is. But it also can be the resolution. So down here in the cogwheel, like this little setting down here, you can change resolutions, you know, when you start out, and do a 1080 instead of 4K. And that'll help. But then also for playback, let's say it's laggy when you hit playback, come up to the playback window or a tab up here, go to, where is it? Timeline playback resolution, and turn it to quarter or half, but quarter goes down to a quarter of the resolution. And when you play back, it's at a quarter of the resolution, which makes it easier for the computer to handle the playback. When you have effects on it, it's still going to slow it down. And obviously you can go into proxies and other things, but that's not stuff that you're going to want to deal with if you're new to Resolve. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I had just those questions, and no one's really showed up to add questions. I tested out this 1 o'clock time. I did 10 o'clock last time. Had a few of you show up. Maybe 1 o'clock is not the best time. I also didn't really push this live stream as much. And I would like to know, do you want live streams that are just more open-ended and, you know, questions and answers type stuff? Do you want live streams that are topic driven, like what I've done? I did, you know, gear. I did, you know, this on DaVinci Resolve. I also have to get better. I was sitting here like I wasn't even on the screen talking to you guys. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm learning things. I'm learning things, guys. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? All right. No wonder you 2 or 3 people clicked off. No wonder. Wow. Okay. Guys, I'm not redoing this. I'm probably going to can this video when it's done, the live stream. I will count this as an epic fail of a live stream. There's a couple of you here now. I just literally spent the last like 20 minutes going through stuff in Resolve over here on the computer and not realizing that my mic was muted the whole time. So none of you got anything what I was saying. You just saw my mouse moving around on the screen. That's fantastic. So anyway, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. If you had comments, but I mean, there's no one here. So I will try this again and we'll see what happens. Like I was saying, if you're here, if you pop in and you have ideas on what you would want to see from a live stream, let me know. That was interesting. I definitely got to be better at that. And I think it keeps like cutting in and out. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have anything else to say. This has been a crapshoot of a live stream. But thanks if you did pop in and saw my mouse move around. Thanks for showing up. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to do another live stream. It's going to be better. I'm going to be on it. I promise. All right, I'll see you guys later.